I will say before anything else, it's not meant for human use, more anabolic and more androgenic than testosterone itself. Because it's a lot stronger than testosterone per se, it also going to bring about a lot more in the way of side effects. Number one, if you're following some social media person and you're 17 years old and you're using a bunch of Trenbolone, I got news for you, little man. Your production is going to take a massive beating. It's really a drug designed for max performance, right? So if you're a casual person looking to drop some pounds and put on a little bit of muscle before summer or whatever, come on, man. Look elsewhere. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of No Limits with Dr. Thierry Jacquemin. Today, we have some stuff, people. We're going to talk about, a little closer, we're going to talk about Trenbolone. Trenbolone is out there, people. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of channels out there that have been almost exclusively dedicated to the uses and misuses of Trenbolone. First things first, this is for information. I'm not sitting here telling you that you should take Trenbolone. Obviously, use your brain. This is for information. You should have information before you make adult, intelligent decisions. This is our function here. This is my function every day in my clinical practice. For sure, this is my function here in the context of these videos, right? So let's dive right in. Trenbolone has caught a lot of traction over the last few years, thanks in part to some very creative social media people that have used it and abused it and, caused sort of like this whole persona, a lot of which, around Trenbolone. In reality, Trenbolone has been around a long time. So first of all, what the hell is Trenbolone? Trenbolone is a synthetic anabolic steroid. I will say before anything else, it's not meant for human use. Obviously, there are humans who use it. It is not prescribable. So please, please, please do not message me or call my office asking for a Trenbolone prescription. Number one, because you're not a horse or a cow. You're a human being, and it's not a prescribable thing. That isn't to say that there aren't uses, and that isn't to say clearly that human beings don't use it. But I want you to understand, Trenbolone is, in all likelihood, the strongest agent that is out there. It is multiple times more anabolic and more androgenic than testosterone itself. It's a derivative, right? So what does that mean? It means that it's a molecule that is modified from your native hormone, right? So you have, whether you're a boy or a girl, you have testosterone floating around your bloodstream. I assure you, you do not have Trenbolone floating around your bloodstream unless you're injecting it, okay? That's number one. Trenbolone has been used traditionally for a good few years now in cattle, essentially to make them larger, to make them gain more weight, right? So it stands to reason if you have, 100 cows and you're going to slaughter them and sell them, well, you want each cow to weigh as much as possible. So it increased something called feed efficiency, right? So it stimulates their appetite. It stimulates their nitrogen balance, which means that they actually take in more. They absorb more nutrients because of the fact that they're eating more. So it's sort of like a tandem process. And of course, it stands to reason that because of that, they tend to also put on more mass. Didn't take long for the bodybuilding community to realize that perhaps there was a use in humans, and that's what has generated this. The so-called good and the so-called bad with Trenbolone. First of all, aside from the issues of its power and what it will do for a physique, Trenbolone also is chock full of side effects. Okay, so remember, it's almost like a blade that cuts both ways. Because it's a lot stronger than testosterone per se, it also going to bring about a lot more in the way of side effects. Number one, I'm going to mention some here at random. Right, this isn't like a PowerPoint class that's very boring on Trenbolone. But so number one, Trenbolone has a significant amount of absorption into your central nervous system, so it can wreak havoc on your mood. It's oftentimes the responsible party in cases of so-called roid rage. It's been associated with severe bouts of depression. It's been associated with suicide attempts, with suicides themselves. Very often, that's the core key molecule. Because of its strength, it's also a significant factor in the suppression of your intrinsic testosterone pathway, right? So if you're following, some social media person and you're 17 years old and you're using a bunch of Trenbolone, I got news for you, little man. Your production is going to take a massive beating. So I would advise you to stop it and then go seek somebody who can actually help you to regain your function. That's that. Trenbolone can do really, really awful things to your cholesterol profiles. Contrary to most of the other ones, even compared to some of the other synthetic compounds, Trenbolone has been shown in some studies to actually disrupt the endothelium, which is the very fickle and fragile but beautiful inner lining of your arteries. Therefore, it can do complicated things, to say the least, to your heart health. Aside from just if you go crazy with the dosage, aside from actually enlarging your ventricle and your heart muscle and so on, which in itself is quite problematic, but it can actually significantly do things to your cardiac risk. It's been suggested, at least in some studies, that it may contribute to the formation of amyloid plaque. Amyloid plaque, for those of you who don't know, is directly associated with the development of Alzheimer's disease. And that's sort of just some of the stuff that we've mentioned. But I'd be remiss if all we did was talk about side effects. Then you would sort of, watch the video and think, well, why are we only talking about side effects? Clearly, the drug works. Well, it depends how you mention it. So it's harsh. For sure, there is benefit, right? Like there's multiple transformation accounts out there of guys putting on 30 pounds in a few weeks and all this other stuff, which can be very appealing. It tends to have an effect on stimulating the production of IGF-1. Think of IGF-1 as sort of like a surrogate for growth hormone. So it's very, very, very anabolic. It doesn't really have much in the way of conversion to estrogen. So for those who use it, they tend to notice that their physique gets a lot harder, a lot more dense, a lot faster. So you get massive strength gains, massive strength production because of the added nitrogen balance. If you're feeding yourself properly and you're sleeping properly and so on, it can be quite beneficial very quickly. But because it's so harsh, those in the know, so to speak, have mentioned, and I agree with that completely, that it's really a drug designed for max performance, right? So if you're a casual person looking to drop some pounds and put on a little bit of muscle before summer or whatever, come on, man, look elsewhere, because you're going to do yourself more unguided harm than anything else. And that's not even talking about the Tren Cough, right? Those of you who have done it, who experienced, will know that it's rather unpleasant. Been different proposed mechanisms for it, but it's a very intense sensation that can last several minutes, where people literally feel like they can't catch their breath and they're going to suffocate. Eventually, it sort of gets a little bit better. Those who use generous amounts of Trenbolone tend to be very much on edge. They sweat all the time, cranky all the time, they're very snappy. So again, back to why people use it. Well, they use it because from a purely aesthetic standpoint, at least in the short term, no question that it could really, truly transform somebody's physique. But you have to temper that with the potential downsides, right? It's been touted as a quote-unquote fat burner, which isn't really a fat burner per se, but because of the anabolic charge, because of the strength gains, because of the nitrogen balance, and because of the fact that if you actually do those other things right, meaning related to nutrition, related to recovery, so on and so forth, sure, you'll see a very rapid transformation. It remains to be seen how much you can actually retain from those gains when you come off of it, and at what cost, right? So that's sort of like a little bit of an overview. It's not the only synthetic compound that has been shown to have some toxicity as far as liver and as far as kidney function. But I will tell you that as far as kidney function specifically, it definitely is the most likely culprit, right? So it's particularly toxic to kidney tissue as a sort of like as a result of it, right? So again, back to this. This isn't a medical consultation. I'm not sitting here telling you to do it. I'm also not sitting here saying run. I'm saying I'm giving you some information so you can make better decisions before you go injecting somebody or before you go injecting yourself. Either way, know what the hell you're doing and educate yourself. Hopefully you got something out of this. I encourage you to share it with as many people as possible, to subscribe to our channel. I want to thank our sponsors, Smart Invest, Lux Galore, Jungle House Studios, and Power Boost. And I will see you guys here very soon.